G'day, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to install this bicycle rack onto a bicycle. This video we're going to go through a step-by-step guide of all the components and how to put it all together. By the end of this video you should hopefully be able to put this bicycle rack onto your bicycle. I purchased this from eBay. Seems pretty good. The quality isn't too bad, but it didn't come with any instructions on how to put it together. This is all of the individual things once you've taken them out of the packaging, and I haven't actually assembled anything. It came like this. Now I'm just bringing your attention into these parts here because just in case they have come apart in transit or something, you'll be able to put them back together. These bolts here are long and these are the short ones at the top. So the loose bolts are a smaller diameter Allen key. So the smaller Allen key the kit comes with will fit in there. The smaller Allen key will not work with the other pieces, therefore the larger sized diameter Allen key. So you can differentiate the bolts easily that way. The rack itself has these 3 Allen key nuts in there to align it along the rail, and all of this is like this. So hopefully yours came together like that. These are for little rubber paint protectors to go around various parts when you put it on the bike to stop scratching your frame, and it also came with the 2 Allen keys and this spanner. Step 1, you'll need these 2 brackets. You'll also need 4 of these groups here, so 4 nuts, 4 bolts and 4 washers. So you put them through like this. So the bracket goes on the outside of the frame, as you can see here. You put the bolt through, washer, and then the nut. And you do that to all 4 points. When you put in the other side, it might not line up perfectly. So you may have to give it a bit of force to get it in there. These frames have got a tiny bit of flex in them, so they're perfectly fine to do that. Once you got them in, use your tools to tighten these up quite tight. They don't need to be loose at this stage because this position that they're in will be their permanent position. These brackets also do have 2 different sides in the pressed metal. I'd like to make it look nice and uniform, so I put the short bulged side on the outside and the long flat side on the inside. The next step is to insert these 2 support poles. They go on the inside of the frame like so. You bolt them in with the same configuration for your nut, bolt and washer. Personal preference at this stage, you can either have it in facing this way or you can rotate it around so the bolt faces forward. I prefer to have the bolt facing rearward, less likely to get debris flick up on to the nut, but that's just personal preference. Do your nuts up, but at this stage you will be not using the tools to tighten them up. You'll just keep it loose because we'll need to fine tune and adjust when we put it on the bike before tightening. Now we're ready to put the main frame onto the bicycle, and this part here needs to go on the seat pole, so we need to loosen this locking latch off first. If you want a snug fit or to protect your paint surfaces, this is where you can put the pads in. Now it's probably a good idea before you put it on the bike to install these pads. They just go on either side here and here, and then when it clamps around your seat pole it stops it from being scratched. Now it's a bit tricky to put them in, so if you've got some super glue you can put some dots on it and then glue it in there, so when you put it on or take it off the bike they stay on it, or you can use some shoe glue or any sort of adhesive. It doesn't have to be that strong because it is going to be clamped onto the bike. It's just to make it a bit more convenient so the pads don't fall out. Be careful not to put this part in there, in between the 2 sides. It doesn't go there, this actually goes next to the latch. And you want to twist this up till it's fairly tight. This is still loose, but it's not too loose. And then when you pull the lever across, it applies that last bit of pressure to clamp it onto the bicycle. You want the frame to be straight on the bike, so you might need some technical taps. Now we just need to install the braces at the bottom to give it that extra support. Right, now we need to take out these 2 end nuts here to open up the bracket. With that done, you can use the cool glue method again to glue the rubber pads on the inside, or alternatively you can place it on the frame and wrap it around and then clamp around it. So these arms go onto here, and then the same on the other side. Again, put the bolts facing outside and the nuts on the inside to make it look nice and neat, and they will be clamped to the frame like that. But we do need to loosen this up so we can insert this into the tube. And then we'll just hand tighten this again. Everything is a little bit loose just for fitment. And also keep note of any cables you may have, such as this gear cable here. You want to make sure that your bracket doesn't wrap around the gear cable, because it will stop it working. But it's probably a little bit easier if you make a U shape with these and glue them in like that around the cable. There we go. You want to put this part as high on the frame as you need to, and you'll know because if you get these two parts and you put them into each other, you need at least a centimetre on the inside past that bolt of this pole to insert into there to give it that strength. So I know that this is too low, I need to move this up a little, and now I know that that's going to go inside, and it's going to have enough bite on the inside of that pole when I tighten it down to keep it nice and secure. Everything's still loose at this stage, but I'm happy with that. Now to do the same on the other side. Again, be mindful of any cables that you have to make sure they're not inside the clamp. Now this here is going to rub a little bit, so when I do tighten this up eventually, I'm probably going to try and twist that a little bit to give it a little bit more gap in there. Now this bottom part's pretty loose. Alright, so now it's time just to fine tune everything, make sure it's all level. So this is lower than the other side, so I could probably pull this side down a little bit just to line it up. Keep it nice and simple, keep it the same, that way there's no extra strain on one arm over the other. You might be able to insert a ruler or a piece of wood or something just to give you a bit more of an eye gauge of how straight it is. Just using the top of this bar here to gauge it, and it looks pretty good at the moment. Now I'm ready to tighten everything up. With these brackets here, if you tighten these up just mostly tight and then quarter turn back off so they're loose again, you can then just tap on this a few times just to make sure that there's no differences in how they're seated, and maybe just press it and then they should be evened out. Now you're good to tighten these back up again. Look at that, it's almost finished. We just need to put in the final touches now, being the reflector and the elastic tie down strap. The reflector goes in with this little knob at the bottom. You just push it in to the groove there, and if you find it super loose you can press this a little bit closer to the frame just to make it nice and tight. And go around like this underneath, tighten this part up here, and then obviously two hands makes this a lot easier, and over the top there like that, keeps it nice and secure, and you can put something under there in this configuration if you needed to. But there we go, that's how you can easily put together your bicycle rack. It's a piece of kit here which I think is very useful to have on a bicycle. You can adjust this, and if I was to do it again I'd probably get the adjustment of this back or forth into the perfect spot, but for now this is fine. In the future I may move it closer to the seat just to reduce that center of gravity sticking out so far, but you know, for practicality this will be fine. Hold up to 50 kilos, and that will probably be more than what I'd ever put on this bicycle. As you can see, I'm loaded up with the kids wee ride on the front there, so yeah, perfect now for me to take the little baby to the park, and I can put the nappy bag on the back. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment below if this helped you, or if you've got any additional tips. Thank you. Bye.